Hello and welcome to the Quality Improvement Program of Rouse IAS. And this discussion basically focuses on the aspect of improving the quality of answer writing from the mains examination perspective. So, this discussion is related to the international relations and internal security, which falls under the General Studies Paper 3. So, now the question arises as to what to expect in this session. So first we will look at a question and we will also look at the reason for which we have chosen that particular question. And that will basically be related to the style in which UPSC has been asking questions in the previous year mains examination related to this particular topic of international relations and internal security. Also, by the medium of this question, we are referring to an important theme for the mains examination of 2020. Further, an important aspect that we will look into in this discussion is how to decode a question in the mains examination. So first we will try to understand the demand of a particular question and also how to identify all important subparts of the question and address the important parts of that question. And finally, we will look at a sample answer which will address the demand of this particular question that we have chosen. So now this question that we have chosen is an important theme for our mains examination because it is related to a dispute that has started between India and Nepal. And this dispute is related to the boundary between India and Nepal and is particularly related to a region known as Kalapani. So the question reads, the Kalapani dispute highlights the need for a reset in India and Nepal relations and highlight the challenges in the India-Nepal ties in this background. Now we note that this dispute has not just started because of this Kalapani land area, but it has also started because of the underlying issues that exist between India and Nepal. So now why have we chosen this particular question and this theme which can be important for us from the mains examination? So first is that it falls in the UPSC syllabus in the General Studies Paper 2 where the international relation is asked. And this particular topic is related to an important aspect of our syllabus, that is India and its neighborhood relations. Now if you look at the previous year questions, you will find that important political developments in India's neighborhood and their impact on the relation between India and that particular country have been asked in the UPSC mains examination in the General Studies Paper 2. For example, this question was related to the political developments that happened in Maldives and should they be a cause of concern to India. The second question that was asked in UPSC 2013 mains examination was in respect of India-Sri Lanka relations, discuss how the domestic factors influence the foreign policy. So you can see that important aspects of India and its neighborhood relations are asked in the mains examination and they are related to this particular aspect of the syllabus, that is India and its neighborhood relations. So now as we note that a dispute related to boundary has started between India and Nepal or has been highlighted between India and Nepal, and that is why it becomes an important theme for us from the mains examination. And the question asks, highlight the challenges in India-Nepal relations in the background of the dispute that has started between these two countries related to the Kalapani region. Now further, this question focuses on India and its relation with the neighborhood and also the changing dynamics of India-Nepal relationships. And we note that India and its neighbor Nepal have always had good relations. However, these relations are now getting impacted because of changing dynamics. So this question focuses on the changing dynamics of India and Nepal relations. And finally, we'll look at the need for a renewed focus on improving relations in the background of the changes that are happening now. Now, when did this issue of Kalapani start? So it started when India recently inaugurated the Darchula-Lipu Lake Pass Link Road. And this particular road cuts across the disputed Kalapani area. And this road, that is the Darchula-Lipu Lake Pass Link Road, is used by Indian pilgrims to Kailash Mansarovar. Now as a result of this inauguration by India, Nepal has hit back by summoning the Indian ambassador to Nepal to convey a formal protest. And accordingly, this particular theme and this particular question becomes important for us from the mains examination point of view. Now after this, let us look at the way in which this particular theme has been covered in various sources of Rouse IAS. So now to prepare this question, you can always go through the DNS coverage or the Daily News Simplified coverage, in which it has been covered on 19th August, 12th May and 29th May. And all these videos are available on the e-learn platform of the Rouse IAS. Also, this issue has been covered in the Focus magazine of July month. So as you can see, the aspects of India-Nepal relations have been discussed in the Focus magazine of July month, and in which the territorial dispute over Kalapani has been highlighted and discussed in detail. And we note that Nepal has also passed the constitutional amendment which has given legal status to the new political map of Nepal, in which the boundaries with India have been altered. So, to understand this issue in detail, you can always refer to these sources where the issue of Kalapani has been discussed in detail in the Focus magazine as well as the Daily News Simplified. Now, the most important aspect of the mains answer writing is decoding the question properly. So, for that, you should first read the question multiple times, and after that, you should always identify the keywords that are given in the question and also the important subparts of that question. Further, you also need to clearly understand the question tag that has been provided in the question. So, for example, in this question, highlight is the keyword and it reads highlight the challenges in India Nepal ties. Now, what does this word highlight mean? So, it aims at making or trying to make the people notice or be aware of someone or something, and also it aims at directing the attention to something very important. So as you can see, the Kalapani dispute has struck a wrong chord in the normally cordial relations between India and Nepal, and accordingly the challenges in India-Nepal ties need to be brought to attention, and that is why the keyword or the question tag highlight has been used. Now the answer in the mains examination should be properly structured and it should include introduction, body as well as a conclusion. So in this particular question, in the introduction part, you should highlight the reasons for the occurrence of current dispute. And in the body part or the main answer, you should focus on the main challenges in India-Nepal relations due to interplay of various factors. And finally, you should conclude by highlighting the need for a reset in the ties. Now we note that this question is only for 10 marks and the scope of writing much is not there. And that is because the word limit is of 150 words. And accordingly, you need to structure the answer properly. So after this, let us look at a sample answer which aims at incorporating as many points as possible in 150 word limit that has been provided in this question. So to start with, in the introduction part, you can say that India-Nepal relations have taken a wrong turn because of the territorial dispute over the Kalapani, which is close to the Lipu Lake Pass on India-China border. So by this introduction, we have highlighted the current dispute and where is it occurring. Further, in the introduction part, we have highlighted why this issue has resurfaced. So it reads, although it is an old dispute with complex historical background, the issue has again resurfaced because of Nepali nationalism, which is being exploited due to political reasons by the ruling dispensation. Now we note that Nepal was earlier a monarchy, and very recently it has converted itself into a democratic republic, and also it has formulated a constitution for itself. Now this constitution of Nepal provides that a no confidence motion against the Prime Minister cannot be moved for a period of 2 years after his election. And this 2 year period for the current Prime Minister is ending soon. And he has been facing criticism for his inept handling of the COVID-19 pandemic and other economic issues that Nepal is facing. And as such, this Kalapani dispute has provided a shot in the arm to this ruling dispensation, which is exploiting the Nepali sentiment or the identity politics to its advantage. And as such, this Kalapani dispute, which has a complex historical background, has again resurfaced because of the Nepali nationalism, which is being exploited due to political reasons by the current ruling dispensation. Now, to improve the visibility of the answer, you should always draw diagrams and flowcharts in the mains examination. And accordingly, in this answer, we can draw a map of India-Nepal border and highlight the location of the Kalapani. So as you can see, it is located on the edge of Uttarakhand. and also at the trijunction of India, Nepal, and China. And finally, in the body part, we can focus on the challenges that exist in the India Nepal relations after providing a proper introduction and drawing a diagram of the location where the dispute has occurred. Now, the first challenge is that of mistrust between the two countries. Now we note that India was blamed for interfering in the constitution drafting in Nepal, and also India was accused of an unofficial blockade in the year 2015. And this was because of the Madhesi issue in the constitution drafting in Nepal. Another challenge has occurred because of increasing influence of China on the important Nepali institutions. And with the abolition of monarchy, China has shifted its attention to the political parties, and also it is now interfering or influencing the institutions like the army and the armed police force. Further, the increasing presence and assertiveness of China is another cause of concern or a challenge in the India Nepal relations. Now, we note that China is pursuing a more assertive foreign policy, which is visible in the current dispute along the line of actual control with India. So, in this background, China considers Nepal as an important element in its growing South Asian footprint. And at the same time, Nepal is also trying to diversify its foreign relations. And accordingly, it is trying to strike a balance between India and China. And also, China has been aggressively investing in various countries, for example, Nepal, and also it has invested heavily in African countries and in the One Belt, One Road project, which is being seen as a project that aims at creating the Chinese hegemony in the South Asia, Southeast Asia, and different parts of the world. And in this background, China considers Nepal as an important element in its growing South Asian footprint. Further, another challenge between India and Nepal relations is that of the 1950 Treaty of Peace and Friendship. Now, this 1950 treaty was sought by Nepali authorities in 1949 to continue the special links it had with British India. And this treaty provides for an open border with India and also right to work for the Nepali nationals in India. However, with the growing middle class in Nepal, this treaty is viewed as a sign of unequal relationship and an Indian imposition. And that is why this has led to India's image as a big brother. Now you can see that we have consolidated this point of the 1950 Treaty of Peace in one single sentence by using proper keywords. And that is why in the mains answer writing, usage of proper keywords makes your answer crisp and clearly understandable, and also it will help in writing the answer in the required word limit. So as we have seen that there are various challenges in the India-Nepal relations, and that is why India and Nepal should engage in dialogue where both the sides need to display sensitivity and reset the special relationship in line with India's neighborhood first policy. And we note that neighborhood first policy is an important plank of the India's foreign policy. And our Prime Minister has been pushing for this neighborhood first policy, and accordingly, Nepal becomes an important partner, and as such, India should focus on resetting the ties between India and Nepal. So, this is one sample answer which could have been used in answering this particular question related to the India Nepal ties. So, lastly, let us look at the important review parameters. First is the answer relevancy, and we have already discussed this aspect in the introduction, body, and the conclusion part. Further, answer enrichment points are also important, and they make your answer crisp and clearly understandable. And as such, use of key terms is very important. And also, you can make use of important publications or reports, etc. And giving current examples or the association with current affairs makes the idea very clear and crisp. So, for example, we have highlighted the issue of Nepali nationalism or resurfacing of Nepali nationalism. Secondly, we have also highlighted India's neighborhood first policy and also the issues that exist in the 1950 Treaty of Peace and Friendship between India and Nepal. Now, besides addressing the requirement of the question, you should also focus on a proper structure, presentation, and language and grammar. So, in the structure part, you need to clearly identify the introduction, the body, and the conclusion. And in the presentation, there should be proper usage of subheadings, points, flowcharts, diagrams, or maps. And finally, simple and short sentences which start with keywords, makes the language simple and chances of grammatical error are minimum and answer also becomes straightforward. And finally, writing the answer in the word limit is very important. And as such, if the question requires you to answer in 150 words, the upper word limit will not be more than 180 words. So you should try and consolidate the answer in the provided words.